All right, so it's 2 o'clock. I'm going to do the official welcome. My name is Alice Jansen, and I'm the Education Events Coordinator with the Texas Children in Nature Network. And we are very excited to have you all with us this afternoon. As I mentioned, you are with the Texas Children in Nature Network's partner exclusive webinar, Let's Grow Together, Building Strong and Meaningful Partnerships in the Community with April Strickland. She's with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, and she is an extension agent working with Better Living for Texans in McLennan County, which is in the Waco area. That's the county of Waco, yes? So she's there in Waco. We also have Yasmin Anderson with the City of Austin Parks and Recreation Department, Cities Connecting Children in Nature program, and she's helping us with our tech today. So thank you so much for helping out, Yasmin. We have automated closed captioning available for this webinar, so you can click the show captions CC button on the Zoom toolbar for the live transcript options, and you'll be able to see the transcripts. We are recording our session today, so to save bandwidth, we ask everyone to turn off their cameras and mute themselves during the presentation. I will be monitoring the chat so that you can share your questions there, and I will share them with April at the end of the session during the Q&A portion of our presentation. I will be sharing the recording of today's session in a follow-up email. There'll be a link to the recording. If you are uncomfortable with your name showing, you can change your name to anonymous and then private message Yasmin with your name for our attendance. Also, if your Zoom name does not match the name you registered with, please change your name or private message Yasmin with your name. All right, so this next part is very important if you are wanting to get a certificate. So listen carefully. Only registrants that attend the live webinar are eligible to receive a certificate of completion. We do not automatically send all attendees a certificate. You must request the certificate after attending the live webinar. The email you received with the webinar Zoom link has the specific instructions for requesting the certificate. So Sarah's email is on that email that you received with your Zoom link information for this webinar. All right, attendance is taken during the live webinar, and we will check our attendance list to confirm your participation. We need the name you registered with to issue the certificate. So if there's any questions about any of that fun stuff, you can just put them in the chat and we will answer them. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the land acknowledgement. The Texas Children in Nature Network is headquartered in Austin, and as such, I am on the ancestral and unceded land of the Tonkawa, Comanche, and Sana people. Our ongoing colonial presence on indigenous lands compels us to take action now to counteract the effects of colonization. The work we do through the Texas Children in Nature Network is one small step towards that effort. And I will be putting some information about land acknowledgements and these indigenous peoples groups in the chat here in a moment. And we just want to thank you all again for being here. We have a very special webinar planned for you all today. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to April. Thank you, April.
All right. All right. And just to add to that also, any of the slides, if there's any of them that that you think would pertain to your organization, these slides in this presentation is going to be made available, and you'll get that through your email as well from Alice. So, all right. Well, welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started for our Let's Grow Together, Building Strong and Meaningful Partnerships in the Community. All right. Well, to kind of start off, I wanted to let you know a little bit about myself. So that graphic you see on the table, I thought it was on the screen. I thought it was kind of cute. It is cartoony, but it does reflect kind of my family and the craziness we have going on. So you'll see my husband down in the far left corner, nice and tiny, with me right above. And then to the right of us, you see all of our 5 girls. And I thought this cartoon was kind of cute because it kind of depicts all of their personalities as well. All right, well, I wanted to kind of just share with you a little bit about the why for this particular webinar. So I'm going to go ahead and read you a little bit of a story. My previous work experiences have allowed me to be deeply involved with my community in various settings and in unique ways. Yet the overarching theme of my positions has been in education. I hold a bachelor's degree in psychology from Texas A&M University in San Antonio, and like it was shared before, I am employed by Texas A&M AgriLife. My role involves providing education related to agriculture and gardening, healthy nutrition, and physical activity. I also get the opportunity to facilitate trainings to allow others to become certified to offer BLT curriculum to the community, such as large church groups, teachers, nonprofit organizations. They can go through that certification process. I am an avid gardener and strongly feel that time spent in nature is beneficial to everyone. My experience working at World Hunger Relief Institute gave me practical skills to work in the garden, but also taught me to value equity and also food access. Through both work and volunteer experiences, I've been able to network and partner with small nonprofit agencies on a local level, as well as leverage support, grant funding, and resources from larger organizations. I'm especially interested in connecting like-minded folks like yourselves with the belief that collaboration creates the best solutions sometimes. It is an incredible feeling to help foster connections and see progress toward a true umbrella of wraparound services, support, and education for members of our community. Over the years, I've worked with a diverse range of individuals and consider my ability to treat others with compassion, open-mindedness, and acceptance to be one of my strongest assets. So welcome today. For the next 50-ish minutes, we are going to be a tiny community, thinking together, talking together, brainstorming together, and hopefully leaving inspired. All right, so just really quick, because I am kind of all over the place in the county, BLT once again focuses on nutrition education. So that picture you see at the top of the screen, right side, is a event that we had at Jubilee Food Market. Our theme of the day was strawberries. So customers that were coming through were able to learn about how strawberries grow and when they grow. They got a healthy strawberry s'more, a healthy snack, and some nutrition education specific to that fruit on their way out. On the bottom, you'll see me, and you'll see that water behind us. That's Lake Waco. So that was part of our Walk Across Texas program. And so for that day, there was a group of about 20 of us that walked the 1 mile Waco Dam, that trek for that day's program. And then last but not least, you'll see on the seed slide, there is Cheyenne. She's practicing her fine motor skills, and also we're looking at the different stages of maturity for these particular bean seeds. And this is a picture of youth, but we do also offer adult garden programs. All right, so Better Living for Texans, once again, is a nutrition education program for adults and children that are SNAP participants and SNAP eligible. That's very important because that is my target audience. But a lot of McLennan County does fit under that classification. The BLT program helps people make healthy choices, improve their physical fitness, save money at the grocery store, grow their own food, and adopt better food safety habits. Our mission statement: we provide research and evidence-based nutrition, health and wellness knowledge to empower individuals, families, and communities to make positive changes for healthier lives. Our vision statement for Better Living for Texans is to create opportunities to change lives. And here in this particular picture, we have Conchis. We are making a healthy grilled cheese and spinach salad sandwich. And what I really admire about AgriLife is that because we have these cooking demonstrations, participants are able to cook together, laugh together, learn together, taste together, and it's not as daunting and kind of scary, kind of doing it at home in your own kitchen. All right, so really quickly, I want you to, if you can, grab 2 pieces of paper and pen, pencil, marker, just anything that you can jot down a couple of things when we get to that and need that. Okay. All right, so there's kind of 2 sections that I want to share with y'all. The first one Partnerships can be very powerful within your community, whether it's local, state, government. But we're going to talk about that in a minute. Right now, on that first piece of paper, I want you to kind of divvy up your paper into 4 sections. So you're going to write time on one of them, money on another, volunteers/volunteer events, and space. So just trust me, I'll explain, but get those 4 kind of categories on your paper and kind of leave room to kind of jot down some things, if anything kind of comes to mind while we're going through the presentation. All right, so what I've found over these last 3 years working with Extension is that a lot of my community partners have been able to offer different things. Some of them have kind of covered all 4 of them that we see here on the screen, but some of them could only offer time. Some of them could only offer money. They're like, April, we can't volunteer and we can't really send volunteers, but you know what, we can write a check to support your programming, or we can write a check to support the school that you're doing programming at. The next category is the volunteers or volunteer events. These could be individual volunteers that sign up to come every Monday, or that say, hey, I'm going to come once a month. Where do you need me? When, where do you want me to go? It could be big events that happen where you might have a massive group of volunteers to help you with your program or your organization for kind of like a one-day, one-shot, big kind of event. And then the 4th category is space. So an organization may not be able to offer you their time. They may not be able to offer you any money or any volunteer support or support staff, but they may be able to say, hey, you can come in and you can use any classroom in our community center, any, these classrooms at our resource center, or for me, I put on their garden area because for my garden programming, sometimes I need space at a community garden to be able to facilitate the gardening curriculum. So I just, like I said, we'll come back to this, but later on, you're going to kind of be brainstorming where some of your either current organizations fall or where potential ones where they're going to fall within those kind of 4 pillars. All right. Okay, so now, in order for you to start recognizing potential partners by specific needs or wants of your organization, or maybe of theirs as well, I've decided to share with you a few of them that I have going on here in McLennan County. All right, so under the time, I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but you'll see, I'll kind of chat about a couple of them. We have Waco ISD. So a way that they have offered to partner with me is that they have allowed me to teach their teachers, whether it's a couple of science teachers or just teachers that volunteered because they liked the curriculum, or after school coordinators because they needed programming for after school. So they've allowed me to train those teachers, and then they are the ones facilitating the program. So it's saving me time because I'm not physically having to go to the school on a weekly basis to be teaching these particular lessons. The same thing with daycare centers, as you'll see, training them and having them facilitate programming. City of Waco Parks and Rec with their after school programming and their implementation of the Learn, Grow, Eat, Go curriculum, so the youth gardening program. So once again, training them and then them taking the time to offer it to their kiddos. Rappaport Academy, both their elementary and middle school have teachers right now that are participating that have been trained. Our family and community health agent here at the extension office, she offers her time when there's certain cooking demonstrations that I can attend, or there's only one of me, so if there's 2 events going on at the same time. Renew Church is giving away healthy recipe cards at their food distribution. So once again, I don't have to be there, but they are taking that initiative to get those out to those people that are picking up the food. And then GTG Outdoors, being able to partner with them for physical activity programming. So if it's an activity that my participants, like let's say my adult participants want to do, and I don't have capacity or I don't have the knowledge base, Gabe with GTG Outdoors can come along and assist and helps in that regard. And then we also, through AgriLife, have master wellness volunteers. And once they get certified, they're actually able to do a whole bunch of things. But facilitation of programming is one of the main things that they get the opportunity to do once they've gone through that process. All right, so now we have money. Maybe Texas Master Gardeners don't have a lot of time because they're busy in the spring, right? But they have money, they have funds. So recently they donated $500 to Bells Hill Elementary for their school garden project. McLennan County 4-H is able to supplement funding for schools that aren't SNAP eligible. So in areas that are not low income, if they're still wanting garden programming and I can't purchase with my grant funds, she's able to come in and partner and help get some of those resources. Waco Foundation with various grant awards, and that partnership was very specific with grassroots as well. And they were able to purchase items to help with the community gardens that we were establishing at that time with that partnership. Brook Oaks Neighborhood Association, so they paid for a community garden sign. A lot of people, residents kind of in that area, North Waco, saw the garden, but they didn't know it was something that they could come into. They thought it was part of another residential property. So making the sign, having a sign made it more visible for any person to come walk into the garden and rest in the garden and eat from the garden. So that was a really neat. Waco Family Medicine, funding supplies for their community garden. Waco Housing Authority, once again, funds for purchasing plants and transplants for their community garden. So those are just some examples of some entities that, once again, didn't have time, couldn't come volunteer with me, but they were able to support me or my programming financially. Okay. Next, we have donations, and this one was kind of like, I was trying to figure out how to kind of word this one, but I did share a few of them. HEB has donated gift cards to some of our like family engagement events, $10 gift cards. I was able to get 10 of them, and we gave them, we either raffled them off or we gave them away if they participated in a certain activity. Bonnie's Greenhouse has donated transplants and also has given us a significant discount when we purchased bulk soil or bulk plants. Urban Reap also has donated. Renew, we did some youth programming out at Renew, and they purchased all the, they donated all of the fruit for the food sampling for the kids when they were going to taste the rainbow and try a whole bunch of different colored fruits and veggies. And then this one's kind of out there, but Balcones Distillery here in Waco, they donated these huge blue plastic rainbow barrels that we are now using for to make rainwater catchment for a few community gardens. And then Jubilee Food Market, they purchased the ingredients for the cooking demonstration. And what I always like is that they were able to get extra ingredients and kind of we did a raffle as well for families to recreate the sample, the healthy, nutritious sample that they were having that day in that store for the event. They were able to get a Jubilee reusable bag with all the ingredients they needed to replicate it back at home. So I thought that was really neat. Okay, so now I'm going through these very quickly, but like I said, you'll have access to the slides if you need, if you're, any ideas are popping up, or jot them down on the side of your paper somewhere. But these were some partnerships that allowed me, that I had capacity to use their space. So National Women in Agriculture here in Waco, they allowed me to use some garden beds at their community garden. With World Hunger Relief, their outdoor classroom. Family of Faith Worship Center, Shepherd's Heart, La Puerta, you'll see Dewey Recreation Center, they all offered space. So sometimes people can't come to the extension office, because we're on one side of town, and I want to be able to reach audiences from all over the county. So being able to go to some of these different community centers in different parts of town makes it more accessible for those people to get there. If they have to walk their bike there, it's in their neighborhood, so they're more likely to be able to attend and come to some of our classes. All right. All right. So next we have some examples. And once again, this is just kind of to spur some ideas for y'all too. We have some examples of individual volunteering. So whether it's community members in the area that you're doing your programming in, sometimes I would do a big community event and it'd be like in the middle of a neighborhood, and I would have people from the neighborhood say like, hey, how can I help you? I like what you're doing. You know, like what can I do? And then also alumni. So you'll see Rachel without the watermelon slices. She looked so cute that day. She is an alumni from our Growing and Nourishing Healthy Communities garden course. And now she comes to the classes just as an aide. She'll pop in here and there. And like I said, it's just nice for her to be able to share her experience with some of the new participants that are going through the class for the first time. Once again, just mention our Master Wellness volunteers, church members. When I've done some classes at some of the churches in the area, they've had members just say, hey, can I volunteer to set up the classroom? Can I help break down and clean the classroom after? Like, do you need help preparing anything for the programming you're doing here at our church? And just being available in that way. Baylor University has, I've had quite a few student groups help over the last few years. These MAPS and APO are kind of like pre-med student groups. So they were very interested in health and nutrition and kind of just seeing the different things that I was doing in the county in relation to that. And then also I've actually even had Baylor groups that were not pre-med and just wanted to be out in the community and help. And so that's been a neat connection that I've had over the last couple of years. Waco High has their National Honor Society students have to get, I don't know what the number is now, but they have to get so many hours of community service as part of their membership in NHS. So I've had a couple of those students contact me and say, hey, I need to get my hours. I like what you do. So, you know, plug me in. Where can I be? Where can I go? And then also the same thing for Methodist Children's Home. They've had students that, whether it's for scholarship purposes or needing community service hours, they've contacted me and I've been able to utilize them as kind of random volunteering. On the other side of that, we have bigger volunteer events. So these are a few that I participate in annually. And so your city, your county, your area, you know, maybe it is a little bit more rural and not as urban. This is, once again, just to kind of get you thinking of like, who could I potentially reach out to? And then we're gonna do some brainstorming here in a minute. So for this one, for the volunteer events, I just wanted to share with y'all that every semester, Baylor has a stepping out. And it pretty much allows organizations, even homeowners, anyone in the county to register to be a site. And you can ask for 5 students or you can ask for 35 students. And they come out and they help you with whatever it is that you need. So I've utilized them quite a bit with huge, like if I'm doing a cooking demo at a big health fair, having 5 or 6 of them helping chop and kind of organize and kind of get things out, and then handing out samples at the health fair. Or, you know, the bigger garden projects where a school is getting a brand new garden and having them there to help in that capacity. There's also MLK Day of Service that Baylor sponsors. Once again, it's pretty much, they send out an email blast saying, you know, what's going on in the community, what do you need help with, whether it's an event or just like something at a school, a church, or somewhere. You know, they want to offer their help for that particular event. Vanguard Emma's Day is another school here in Waco, so they contact me annually, and they'll say, how many kids do you need? What is the age range that you would prefer? And give us a little bit of the project that they're going to be working on. And they've done an array of different projects over the last few years as well. And then lastly, Eagle Scouts here in Waco have contacted me on 2 occasions. They have to do they have to do like projects. I don't know if it's for them to achieve their final like certification to become an Eagle Scout, to graduate or whatnot. But we did have one when a gentleman come out with a couple more of his younger Eagle Scouts, and he had to complete a project, and he chose to build a 3-bin system, composting system at a community garden in close to downtown Waco. So not even the school that they go to, but he chose us to be able to complete that project, to complete what he needed to do. All right, so that was just a lot of all what I'm doing. Hopefully, you know, some little light bulbs might have gone off. This particular graphic, it's a little fuzzy, and I was like, it's a little bit goofy maybe, but I wanted y'all to see, I'm gonna just kind of point to, right here we have Waco Family Medicine, kind of where I'm hovering my little arrow on, and then you'll see kind of this picture of me in the middle. I couldn't get this wheel and spoke out of my mind, so I was like, we'll put it in the presentation and maybe they'll get it. And then, okay, so Waco Family Medicine, me here in the middle, and then coming over here to Urban Reap. The reason I wanted to create this visual, because it may be the same for you, is that, so I was doing garden programming at Waco Family Medicine and cooking classes for their patients because they were getting their prescription boxes. So I had to teach them, I had to grow in the garden what they were getting in their prescription boxes, and then do cooking classes so they could learn how to use this Swiss chard that they've never eaten in their life. Okay, so was doing the stuff at Waco Family Medicine, and then was a lot of my supplies for the teaching garden beds was from Urban Reap. So soil, transplants, seeds, supplies, whatever it is that I needed, I was sourcing from there. Once again, Urban Reap is a local greenhouse. So I really wanted to do that versus, going to Home Depot or Lowe's or kind of some of the more bigger commercial stores. And so the reason I put it in a spoke this way is because after my programming at Waco Family Medicine ended, like I wanted to kind of spread myself out throughout the county and get to other gardens and in other areas, Waco Family Medicine knew that I had been sourcing a lot of my garden supplies from Urban Reap. So fast forward, after I was no longer necessarily there, my presence wasn't there in programming, they reached out to Urban Reap and they created a connection between each other. And now Urban Reap has interns and actually a part-time employee that helps take care of the Waco Family Medicine community garden area, so it stays pristine, it stays that it's teachable year round. So that was a connection that they were able to make. And so you may have opportunities within your partnerships as well, where you introduce, you're a connector. Like you can connect some of these entities that maybe you're stepping out of it, but you build a stronger connection. But then they think of you like, oh, the next time you need this, or they have this. They may be reaching out to you to see, hey, we have a surplus of I don't know, a certain food or a certain supply. We have 20 water hoses we don't need anymore. Like, can they go to a school? So it has been really neat over the years to see some of these partners become work together because of the introduction. All right, so I wanted to take the next maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and I want to invite one of my community partners, GTG Outdoors, just to share a little bit about their experience in partnering with Better Living for Texans and some of the neat experiences that have come from our particular partnership.
Thanks, April. Hello, everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Gabe. I'm the executive director of GTG Outdoors. So we aim to get our community out in nature, hiking, biking, paddling, camping, backpacking, all of the outdoor activities that we can. So when April was asking me to do this, I was thinking, yeah, like we've done a lot through the past couple of years. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized how significant our partnership really has been. And how beneficial it's been to our participants. Because at the end of the day, right, it's not just about numbers. It's not just about you did a program. It's about impact for the people, the community that you work with. So some of the things that I think have been really significant in our partnership are just the ways that we have been able to ebb and flow our programming to help both of our organizations. So one of the biggest ways that we partner together has been through our summer camp. So GPG Outdoors offers outdoor nature-based summer camp to our community, and something that me and April had talked about is like how could we do some of her nutrition classes or get her to come out there. So the first year we did it, she came out and did a demonstration for us, which was really fun. But then as we kept going, the second year, we actually talked a little bit more, and she was able to offer a full set of classes so that she could get all of them a healthy living certification that they would be able to do through these 4 classes that were about an hour each. And so we talked through it, figured out the timing for it. We had about 60 students go through her programs during the summer, and it was great. It took a lot of negotiating. She had to be okay with the time frame that we had available, and we were able to transport them to her. She provided the space, and we were able to help manage her, help with the activities so that she can manage the classroom well. And so with that, it's like that partnership, it worked out really well. The students really loved it, but it took a lot of time and effort from both parties to make that happen. And that's something I think is super important about partnership, and think something that April does really well is like, how do we navigate and negotiate so that it's helpful for the organization, but most of all, it's helpful for the participants. In other ways that we have partnered, something that is recent that I'm really excited about, and that just required very little for her to put together, but the little she did is now going to lead into a big impact for our community. So she has a community group through another organization called La Puerta here in Waco, and she just took a couple minutes to ask them like what nature-based activities they had done. And she showed me a little picture of, oh, like they they've gone hiking, some of them, so they went hiking, but not a lot of them have been kayaking or camping. Well, how could we get them to go kayaking, because none of them had been kayaking before? So she contacted me. We're scheduling our kayaking day for that group of older individuals, and all that took from her is during her programming to ask that question, like what have y'all done, what would y'all like to do? And with that information, she's able to give that to me, and I'm able to see how we could meet her participants in the community where they need, right? And they're now going to get this great experience, a first experience for them. So I think that's like a super important part of partnership, just having those relationships and bringing up stuff like, oh, I could see if we could do this, but you have to ask the questions to your participants. You have to have the knowledge of what your partners can offer and their availability to be able to do that. And April has collected a lot of those resources as she presented on throughout the years. And I think that's super key as we move forward as a community and as larger organizations, networking, that we are able to do that for our community. So, thanks, April.
Thanks, Gabe. Yeah, I thought that it was just, I had to send him that picture because like you mentioned, this was part of the Walk Across Texas program. And we had been doing different activities every week, whether at Crim Park, we did the Waco Dam, we did the Waco Wetlands. So I just wanted to introduce these. These are all like around 40 and up participants. So just to different areas in Waco that was free, that they had access to, that they could take their kids, grandkids to. And then, so I'm thinking like outdoors, outside physical activity. Oh, GTG Outdoors, what are some of the things that they do? And so I literally on a whiteboard just listed like hike, bike, kayak, camp. And I said, how many of you have kayaked before? None of them had risen their hand. I was like, oh, you're gonna go kayaking in the next few months before it gets dreadfully hot. Maybe 2 of them had been camping. So, we're playing around with some things there. Maybe 2 out of the 15 had ever been hiking. So Gabe does have a lot of work cut out for him as these individuals kind of phase out of my programming and get really interested in what GTG is doing. But thank you, Gabe, for that, for sharing with us. All right. Well, moving on. All right. This model could be a whole nother webinar in itself. but I'm referencing it, some of it. So I just wanted to share this socio-ecological model, Bronfenbrenner's. We have right there in the middle, individual factors and interpersonal relationships, organizations and institutions, communities and sectors of influence, societal structures and cultural norms. We're going to hone in on the sectors of influence just to once again, maybe get y'all thinking about some future potential partnerships that you could have for your organization. All right, so on that second piece of paper, so remember the first one, you had time, money. On the second one, on the front part of the page or on the one side, I want you to write down, and you can abbreviate or just, you know, something to indicate these first 5 sectors. There's going to be 10 in total. So I'm thinking you do 5 on one side of the paper and then 5 on the other. But I want you to just take a minute. And so you're going to just pencil in, have an area for government, leave some space, business, education, etc. And then we'll go through these, and then on the back, we'll go through the next 5. And these are just some sectors of influence. There's many that aren't on here. And some that on here that may not pertain to you, or that you, yeah. Okay. All right, well, now that you have those 5 written down, I just kind of wanted to give like little phrases, little blurbs underneath on kind of what comes to mind when I think of these things, and a lot of more things fit under these as well. So they wouldn't have fit on this slide. Under government, the first thing that were coming to mind were like state and local support, such as your extension agency. So all of you, I think all but like 4 counties in Texas have a BLT agent. So if you want more information, reach out to me and I'll get you connected with the BLT agent for your particular county. Having support from businesses, whether small local businesses or large commercial ones. In the education sector, so universities, I am blessed that I get to work with, get a lot of support from Baylor with their volunteer. I don't get money, but I get a lot of volunteers. Schools, Head Start centers, daycare centers, all within that education sector. And, you know, we could go, there's a couple more we could list on there. Health, hospitals, community clinics. Waco Family Medicine has, I think, about 15 different clinics across the county now and counting. So it's been really neat to work with them and partner with them. Human services organizations such as nonprofits or volunteer organizations. So those are just some examples, because I'm going to come back in a minute for your activity, and I just want you to have kind of some reference points. All right, so now turn your sheet of paper over, and I want you to write these ones down. We have culture, we have agriculture, sports and recreation, environmental, and religion. Okay, so with these new 5 sectors of influence, we have culture, right? Like culture, I mean, that the definition of culture, ever changing, ever adding to, it's a beautiful thing, but some examples I thought of here are like, you know, different cities, different counties have different art scenes. So like the culture of art, of dance, of muralist, of all the thing of the arts. We have a Zumba instructor that comes and does a physical activity programming. So under culture, those were just kind of the first ones that came to mind, but you might think of a couple other ones. So that was just a placeholder for culture. We have agriculture, so like family farms or local residents sharing their backyard garden experiences or what they have going on in their community, and that they're able to share, you know, what they're experiencing. Under sports and recreation, we have gyms, athletic centers, YMCAs. A lot of these are pertaining to like physical activity and gardening and nutrition, because that's my role with extension, right? Yours can be different, but hopefully these are just going to start sparking some ideas. We have environmental, so national and local environmental organizations. And under religion, you have places of worship and their members. You think you have, you think of a church, it has members. So you have a program that you want to give, you want a demonstration you want to show, you want something that you want to market. You already have the people and they're in a place and they're already meeting together. So reaching out to that particular religious organization and say, hey, this is going to help your community. Can I present on X, Y, or Z? All right, so hopefully you were able to jot down those 10 sectors of influence that I just decided to use for this particular presentation today. And now I want you to take, I'm going to give y'all, how are we doing on time? Okay, 5 minutes, about 3 to 5 minutes. And I want you to think of who are your current community partners and under which sector of influence do they fall? You might be brand spanking new to your job or your role, so you might not have that many, and some of you might have quite a few. But I just want you to take a minute to kind of put some in those different categories, and then we're going to share after the few minutes, and then hopefully there may be some entities that might spur someone to be like, oh, I can reach out to them, or I can connect with them, or I would have never thought of them being able to help in this particular way with my program or with my organization, with the efforts and kind of what we're trying to accomplish. So take a few minutes and just, like I said, you should have those 10 sectors of influence. Just see if you can jot down a couple, and then I would love for a couple of y'all to volunteer to share kind of what you came up with and kind of what you thought through. Is there any questions on this particular piece on what y'all are doing? Crickets. Okay, y'all are working hard.
No questions.
All
Thank you.
right. I'm gonna give you all about a minute more, and then if you can just like raise your hand, or I'm just trying to, yeah, just if anyone in about a minute or so, if you just want to share kind of some of, if there was other partnerships that you already have with your organization that you just want to share, and kind of it could potentially create a future partnership with someone else in the webinar in their area. I'll give you up to 2:43. Okay, I don't know if that was 3 to 5 minutes. But I don't want to, there's just a few more things I want to share with you to make sure we don't run out of time. Can anyone please just share some of their current community partners that they've really enjoyed working with?
If anyone wants to, here we go, we got a chat. The school district, Austin ISD. That's
Okay.
from Yasmin with City of Austin. Anybody else want to share some of their community partners?
Maybe that's why you're here. Maybe you just.
I know we work with our community libraries quite often and use like their space for either community events, or we provide like education to them and get to do that.
Yeah, that's really good, because then they can even market it too on like their Facebook if they're having an event, if you're having an event there to reach kind of a larger audience. So yeah, my libraries are awesome. Anyone else just have another kind of different type of community partner maybe that I didn't discuss earlier or that hasn't been mentioned?
Hi,
Y'all are
this is
welcome to
Emily.
unmute. Oh.
Hi, this is Emily with the San Antonio River Authority. I would say that one of our biggest partners we're constantly working with are the master naturalists. I believe you mentioned the master gardeners. And so they have been instrumental in helping us not only spread the word on things, but also becoming our volunteers. They're our most committed volunteers and docents.
Okay. So yeah, so now you know, maybe reaching out to your local libraries and see if they can partner with you, or your master naturalist. Yes, and I just connected with ours here that are in our area as well. So yes. All right. So I'm gonna assume, okay, I won't assume, but I didn't hear unless y'all are shy today, a lot of community partnerships. So maybe you don't have any. Like I said, maybe you just started in your role, maybe your organization is small and kind of trying to build itself. So how do we move forward with an action plan? Well, these are either take a screenshot of this particular slide, or like I said, you're going to have access to the recording in the slides anyway. But what could be an action plan moving forward? Like maybe you start thinking through, who do I already know? And I just need to contact that organization. Like, who is my contact person? Or who do I have contact information for, but I need to set up a meeting? Maybe, you know, you saw them at a health fair, I don't know, 4 months ago, and y'all really got excited about partnering, but you just haven't set up something official, more official. Who do I need to find contact information for to introduce myself? Maybe you think, man, April did some stuff with the Waco Family Medicine with the clinic. I wonder if the clinic near me or in my area would be interested in either giving me a space or marketing my program or helping me. So how do I get that? Where do I need to go to find that contact information? And then also, what community partners do you think through? What community partners do I already have that I could potentially re-engage with and either offer support to kind of reestablish and strengthen that relationship, or ask for support if it's something that your organization needs. So that's going to be kind of your action plan into acquiring some good, sturdy, strong partnerships. All right. I have for you, because the teacher in me could not resist, an extra credit assignment. So in the next few days, or when we hop off this webinar, I would love for you to take maybe like 2 minutes to share one of your biggest takeaways from today's webinar. Like I said, your biggest light bulb moment. What is an exciting something that you're excited about as far as the next step? And then how can I support you in exercising your community building muscle? So, there's a lot to be said in 55-ish minutes. And so I went pretty quickly. But I would love for you to reach out to me and ask, any questions about like, how did you get that particular partnership started, or like, what did it take? And, Gabe mentioned that on some of our events, it took a lot of work up front, but then it really was fine after we got that established. The planning part was the biggest piece, or it was something simple as just, have y'all ever done this? And then saying, oh, okay, well, we're going to connect you to this organization. And if you email me back, which I'm going to share my email in a minute, I am going with your responses. I'm going to send you a wildflower seed bomb. It's going to be Texas, but I don't know. We'll see if any of you are from anywhere else, and I'll get you hooked up with some seeds for your particular area. A couple of things before we sign off that I wanted to remind y'all of: your business cards, or some type of something that you can, either your program brochure or just something that you can hand off. Like I said, if you're at a health fair, depending on a school event, just somewhere where it's kind of like loud and busy, and you want to reconnect with that particular organization, that partner, if either ask them for their card or give them your card, but just or take a picture of their card, save trees. And so that you can kind of be able to reference that and go back to it, and not be spending like 15 minutes Googling things and, trying to find that organization or a person, just trying to either give them your business card or getting some kind of contact information before y'all kind of go your own ways. All right. Any questions? I think I went really fast. What was that?
No, you did great. We appreciate you I'm presenting this really important and helpful information for our partners. And, we do have a little bit of time if anybody wants to unmute and share a comment or an experience or a suggestion or a question. We have time to do that. I have put some information in the chat regarding some upcoming webinars. We have a virtual teacher workshop coming up on Saturday morning at 10. Which will be a lot of fun. Breaking play barriers, how to get out of your own way, and let play lead the way. And then we have our next monthly webinar on April 3rd, which will be forest bathing research with Dr. Courtney Crim with Trinity University. So she has done some forest bathing in-person workshops, and she did a forest bathing webinar with us a couple of years ago. That is one of our most viewed recorded webinars to date. So don't miss that one. She's going to be sharing some of the research behind forest bathing, kind of where it started, the history of it, that sort of thing. So that's coming up April 3rd. And then I included the evaluation link for today's webinar. And then we always love to have donations if anybody wants to contribute via our donation page to help support these free webinars and workshops that we offer through the Texas Children in Nature Network. And I do just want to give a little plug for our 2024 summit coming up in Waco, which is where April is located, and Gabe. It's going to be December 11th through the 13th in downtown Waco at the City of Waco Convention Center, right in the heart of Waco. So mark your calendar. You'll be seeing more information about the summit coming out in the next few months. So but we were excited to be in Waco. We actually have our first Summit Planning Committee meeting, our kickoff meeting in Waco, April 11th. From 2 to 4 at the Mayborn Museum. If anybody else on the webinar today is from the Waco area, we'd love to have you join us. If you have any questions, please let us know. Any comments? Some folks are having to hop off, but we appreciate everyone's participation this afternoon. And a special thank you to April for sharing your knowledge, your experience, your expertise in this area of community and partnership. It sounds like you're doing some amazing work. So we really appreciate you and look forward to brainstorming some summit workshop ideas with you soon.
Yeah, and I have one more thing I want to leave or two things to leave y'all with. So I've never done a forest bath, but that sounds phenomenal. But I did do my first sound bath last week. So that may be something we could do at conference. And then one of my previous education directors for World Hunger Relief, we were in a meeting one day and she had shared with me, April, don't say no for me. So when you're thinking about these partnerships, when you're thinking about establishing these partnerships or re-engaging, don't think already that they're too busy, I see them, or they're too large, or they're too fancy, or they're too X, Y, or Z, right? Don't say no for them. It may take a little bit of courage, but contact them. Ask them what it is, whether it's a need or want, or maybe you want to support them in some capacity. So reach out to those organizations, don't be afraid, and so don't say no for them. And then lastly, here is my contact information. So you have my email, my cell phone number, and then just a link to the Better Living for Texans Facebook page if you kind of see what else has been happening here in our county and kind of what's to come. But thank you all so much for joining us today.
Thank you, April. Yes, I always say it never hurts to ask. And I always tell you no, but let them say no, right? I like that.
Yeah.
That's nice. Bit of advice to leave with everyone this afternoon. All right, so we'll go ahead and sign off for today, and we'll hopefully see some of you all in person soon. And have a great rest of your Wednesday afternoon. And thanks again. We'll see you at the next webinar. Take care.
Bye.